Crab season is very popular during the holiday season, but there is some controversy brewing over the equipment used to catch the crabs. Now, researchers say that the current traps are harmful to whales and turtles, among other sea life. And joining us right now to talk all about this is Kilduff. She is a lawyer and a scientist with the Center for Biological Diversity, and she's here to talk about the legal petition. So can you just kind of tee it up for us? Where do we stand now as trying to go get crabs? Explain what we have now and what you guys are hoping to get to.
Well, right now, for Dungeness crab season to begin requires a risk assessment for whether the whales have begun their migration south for the winter. It's extremely expensive, but the state is doing a good job of assessing where the whales are and whether it's okay to open the fishery. And they do that about every 2 weeks.
So that's where we are now. So moving forward, if we change the traps or change the way that we go out to grab crabs, would that help in the totality of this situation?
Absolutely, because right now there are season delays and certain areas that are open before others. If we move to ropeless traps, which is a new technology that doesn't have that entangling line between the trap on the bottom and the buoy at the surface, then we can protect areas like Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary all the time. There wouldn't be any risk of entanglement of leatherback sea turtles or humpback whales.
And then explain as far as the costs and all this. I mean, I would imagine that it would be very costly for everyone to make the change. Is that kind of something that's hanging up everything?
Absolutely. The cost right now is prohibitive, and that's one of the reasons that we asked the federal government to require a deadline, not just for Dungeness crab fisheries, but for lobster fisheries, spot prawn fisheries, any fishery that involves a trap and a line that goes through the water. So that will bring the cost down. If all the fisheries have to adopt this technology, we're hoping that the rollout will be akin to cell phones. Before, no one realized that we'd be depending on our phones for directions and information all the time. And we're hoping that the fishery can transition rapidly and bring the cost down.
So where do we stand now in all of this? I mean, I would imagine that those people whose livelihood depends on going after the crabs, they're probably very upset. And at the same time, you guys feel like you're trying to do the best thing when it comes to everyone, preserving wildlife and at the same time, people's livelihood. So what needs to give in all of this?
Well, the deployment of the technology really depends on the fishermen adopting it and testing it. And so that's why we've asked for the requirement for all the fisheries to adopt the technology, not tomorrow, but in 5 years. And especially in areas like National Marine Sanctuaries in 3 years. So those areas like Monterey Bay are especially productive for whales and sea turtles. And it's where a lot of the entanglements are reported off California. So we're really hoping that the fishermen see this as an opportunity to start designing the gear the way they need it to work. And we're hoping that the federal government, by requiring it, will be able to fast track grants, research, and technology deployment.
Okay, well, we will continue to keep close track on this. I know a lot of people feel very strongly about all of this. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, coming up on